What's up guys, it's Axel, and today we have two IMs, a neutral one and a bassy one. Let's start with the bassy one, which is the ZiiGaat X Vivir Digital Rumba. This is a single dynamic driver IM priced around $35, and inside the box you have 6 pairs of ear tips, narrow bore and wide bore, a cable, no pouch, which would have been nice. The cable is the nicest I have tried at this price. It's very soft, smooth, pliable, doesn't tangle, great for desktop use, and there's a mic version available. It has a small resin shell with a red faceplate, VD logo on one side, ZiiGaat on the other, a short nozzle, so it was a shallower fit for me. I had to size up on ear tips, but this will fit smaller ears great. Let's look at the graph of the Rumba, and to my ears, this is a bassy V-shaped sound signature. Sub bass and mid bass are both elevated. Kick drums hit heavy, bass guitars are forward and dense, but the bass is a bit boomy. There is some bass bleed into the mids, which does affect the mid-range tonality a bit. On No Excuse by Alice in Chains, the bass has real weight, but intrudes into the mid-range and affects the vocal clarity. I noticed the vocals sound good in isolation. They're just a bit warm, but on bassy tracks, I feel the vocals take a step back. Lower mids need more highlight, as I felt vocals step back behind the bass and treble. The lower treble here is a bit energetic, has extra bite, and does have some intensity. The upper treble is smooth and well extended, and technical performance is very good for a $35 set. It has good left and right stereo separation, so the imaging is good. For comparisons, around this price point, you have the Kiwi Ears Cadenza, which is a mild V-shaped sound signature that has cleaner bass, more mid-range clarity, but leaner vocals. If you want more clarity, go with the Cadenza. If you want the bass and warmth, go with the Rumba. There is the nice HCK Tears, which is better for vocals, but the Rumba has more bass that hits harder and the mid-range sounds warmer. There's the Kiwi Ears Bell. The Bell is just smoother, softer. It has a lo-fi sound, a relaxing IM. The Rumba is brighter, more energetic and incisive. And then there's the OP22, has a QTC connector and a very tangly, memory-prone cable. The cable on the Rumba is so much better. When it comes to the sound, obviously it's gonna be up to a preference. Personally, I'm not a fan of the OP22, and I feel the 1 to 2K energy is better on the Rumba, as it just helps balance out that bass. And then you have the Vivace. It just sounds clearer when it comes to the mid-range. Its treble is smoother. It has less 4 to 6K. It also has slightly more air. The Rumba comes with a nicer cable, and if you want that nicer cable or you want the mic version, go for the Rumba. I don't think this is exactly the best set for vocals at this price point, and it's not for people who don't like warm sound signatures, but this is a good set for people who want a bassy, warm, V-shaped sound signature. So let's talk about the Reference. So Reference is priced around $350. It's a hybrid set with 2 dynamic drivers, 3 balanced armatures, horizontally opposed woofers, 2 Sonium BAs for the mid-range, and 1 Knowles BA for the highs. It has branded drivers, which is very nice. Inside the box, you get a nice pocketable zipper case, great ear tip variety, standard bore, short wide, and foam. My favorite was the short wide. The cable is modular with a right angle termination that's a bit awkward to use with desktop amps, but is great for portable dongles and DAPs. The shell is CNC machined, metal shell that feels premium and durable. The logo is elegant, more refined than slapping a brand name on the faceplate. One nitpick, it scratches fairly easily. The 2-pin connector sits perfectly flush, looks nice. The cable, ear tips, and case all color match. That's a tiny detail I appreciate. It makes the whole package look intentional. Let's look at the graph of the CrinEar Reference, very close to JM1. And here is the graph of the stock ear tips. So how does it sound? When it comes to the bass is good. Not great, but good. It's sub-bass focused, so on Hey Now by Kendrick Lamar, sub-bass rumble is there. For me personally, the sub-bass is accurate. On Flight of the Cosmic Hippo, that track has these transitions from sub-bass to mid-bass. I can hear that transition. Around the 2-minute 25-second mark, the bass drops to a very low octave, and I can hear that very clearly. There is good drum impact. It actually has a decent punch. Where it leaves something to be desired is bass guitars. On Pink Floyd's Money, the bass is clear and defined, but a notch quieter than I would like. To my ears, this is a detached bass presentation, meaning the bass is well separated from the mids. This gives the Reference a leaner sound, but at the same time, it gives it a good sense of clarity. On Leonard Cohen's Going Home, that track can sound congested on some IMs, but on the Reference, I feel his deep voice never blends with the bass, and it's very clear, never stuffy. Mid-range is the best part on Still Feel by Half Alive. Vocals are clear and natural. On Never Ordinary by 3 Days Grace, I can hear the raspy vocals, and the distorted guitars are vivid and reproduced convincingly. On How to Get By Amber Rubarth, her voice, the cello, the guitars, it sounds so realistic. The tonal balance and accuracy is just great. Everything sounds correct. The treble is ear tip dependent. With the stock standard board, I felt the 4 to 6.5K range on tracks like Lost in the Middle by Blackbird, Over the Woods by Outkast, and All the Good Girls Go to Hell by Billie Eilish. There was just a glare. Switching to the stock short wide ear tips just transformed the treble for me. Above 8K, the treble treble is excellent. It has extremely realistic cymbal and hi-hat reproduction. High frequencies are very realistic, no splash, no sizzle. On take 5, cymbals, drums, and saxophones sound completely realistic. There is natural decay, and more treble doesn't mean more detail, it just means more treble. High frequency sounds are gonna be louder in the mix. That's the detail that you're hearing. That is not needed to get great technical performance. The CrinEar Reference proves that. Technical performance is very good. Very good resolutions, instrument separation, a jigsaw falling into place by Radiohead. I can hear the string buzzing, the finger slides, micro details show up naturally. On The Business by Tiesto, I could hear reverb and the singer breathing before the vocals. This is a revealing IM, especially in the mid-range. I'm not saying it's better than the Manger Top Pro, but I'm saying at $350, this is very good technical performance. It has a smooth, soft sound that makes long sessions very enjoyable. Let's start the comparison, starting with the Daybreak. For me personally, the Daybreak has more bass, and that bass has a better slam. It just has too much ear gain. For me, Reference sounds smoother in the mid-range, more defined in the bass, and its treble is better. It sounds more accurate, clearer, and more revealing. You have the High Senior Mega 5 EST, which in my opinion is a decent set. It's safe, it's inoffensive, it has more bass. The bass is a bit poofy. The Reference sounds more natural, more technical. The mid-range clarity, the accuracy. For me personally, it's much better, and it's also cheaper and has a metal shell. You also have the ZiiGaat Lush, which is a nice set. The only thing about the Lush is that the mid-range is laid back, so vocals can feel relaxed. Reference is actually more contrasty, more technical. It's much better actually. And then you have the ZiiGaat X Hangout Odyssey 2. This is what I call a fun and tasteful coloration. You get a more bass, and that bass can be fun with genres like hip-hop. The Reference sounded much better in the mid-range. The mid-range clarity is better, the mid-range texture just sounded more realistic to me. And then you have the Soft Ears Volume S. It has fun bass, but the mid-range is colored. The Reference is more natural to my ears. It does come across more accurate, clearer, more neutral, and more realistic. Reference wins for me. And then we have the Studio 4, one of my favorite sets. Reference is fuller, more natural in the mid, more accurate treble. Studio 4 sounded brighter in comparison. So for me, it's another win for the CrinEar Reference. Has no pressure buildup, has a metal shell, and comes with a modular cable. Then you have the Dunu 242. It has more bass physicality. Reference, no sharp treble, no metallic sheen, no colored mid-range. Mid-range that sounds truly natural. Smaller shell, metal shell. Last thing I want to mention before I end this is colored sound has a place. Even if you like bass, you can enjoy a natural sound. Just understand what you care about. I don't think it's gonna be for bass heads, treble heads, or those who want a very colored, exotic tonality. But it gets a very strong recommendation for anyone who wants a natural, realistic reference level sound. That's it for this review. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.